the truthful, and the most just. I greet all of you once again who hunger and thirst for Allah's understanding of His instruction in righteousness, which we call Holy Scripture. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Assalamu alaikum. We may have been misunderstood. Monday when I told you that I wasn't going to be up here teaching you and warning you forever. Those of you who are sincerely with me, you don't have nothing to worry about. The messenger already told you that. He said, we don't know where we will be, but we will be wherever He is. Now, when I'm getting ready to teach, you do all your fidgeting and stuff before I start talking. It's written, when Allah's messages are being recited, remain silent and listen to its recitation. Now, I've gave all of you instructions on it just like our babies. Telling a baby to be quiet and name but 6 or 7 months old is like telling the ocean, don't come to the shore. That's not intelligent. But I have found that the peace that Allah have given me extends even to the babies, if you just leave them alone. Now, if I feel like y'all need to do something about them, I'll tell you. Now, so I say to those of you who believe that I'm the Lord, there ain't no reason for you to be worried, no matter what I tell you, about quitting talking or whatever, because you should already know that I'm not going to leave you. Those who are with me, I'm not going to lose not one who with me. It's just those who pretend. I told you I would much rather have an honest enemy. Someone who's honest enough to tell me what their problem is with me, than to have a dishonest friend who pretends, like you see Farrakhan and them sitting up pretending to follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Lying. Just outright lying. Going against everything that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught, and then want to stand up there and pretend that he loved the messenger. You hear him tell he loved the messenger, he loved Malcolm, he loved everybody. I'm so sick of these hypocrites. You heard him on there talking about he didn't believe in the messenger no more.
Yes.
Now up there he believe again, right? Based on what? Then you got all of these sycophants. You look up the word. Sycophant. I think that's how you spell it. Look it up. And then look at all of them jockeying for positions so they can get a free book. Every one of you gonna wish you had never even thought a hateful thing about me, let alone let it fly out your mouth. Because you're gonna have to answer for all of that. Remember, I asked you to point out what fault you find with me. Remember, I told everybody to show me what's wrong with me. Do you know what that means when nobody could say nothing? It means you knew I was right. Then why didn't you follow me? Why didn't you submit and obey me? Because you chose to follow your rebellious devils. Son of man, they are a rebellious house. That's what Allah told him. He said, but you give them warning from me anyway. The whole house of Israel, the whole world that Jacob brought into existence. That's right. And you know, it's time, you know, I was talking to a brother today. And coffee's good. Wonder why sometimes it tastes better than others. Anyway, anyway, I was telling brother, I said, brother, I got a special message this evening. So all of them that you know, especially black people, you get them to tune in. And I told Brother Jamal the same thing. I told him to let people know. Didn't I tell you? I didn't tell you. I thought I had told you. See how you can think you did something and now what if you know, a lot of times you think about telling somebody something, think about saying something to somebody, but that's all you did was thought about saying it. And then you tries to make them remember you telling them something that you actually never told. People do that to me. I don't do it as often as other folks do it. People do that to me all the time. Because most people don't even like to talk to me much. Because they're scared I might see something that they don't want me to see in what they said. And if I was here to condemn you, I don't have to, you don't have to try to hide it. You ain't nothing you can hide from me. When I came here, all of you was messed up. I was born into a wicked world. Just like the book that I became. It was delivered into the hands of sinful men. Ain't no wonder it's full of boo-boo. You done messed these scriptures all up with your poison. And they don't got so bold with it. You start telling them, well, what do this scripture mean? Well, to me, that means, can you fix your mouth to say what God's word meant to you? Do you hear how crazy that sounds? You know, if you grew up with a dad in the house like me, you would know how crazy that sounds. I ain't no way I would sit down and let my daddy hear me talking about what he meant by what he said to one of my brothers. And I'm putting it in my words. He said, hey, boy, come here. I'll teach you to change what I say. And then he'd beat my route. You never do it but once either. But you seem to got so bold. You know. Let me show you this here. Now some of you are gonna turn. You're gonna turn me off because you don't want to hear it. That's all right. This is civil court. You know what that means? Now in civil court, they hold your trial even if you get up and walk out. All they want to know is that you knew that the trial was going on. And you was forewarned, and if you didn't want to be in that, well, that's you. Is that right? Then you just get a judgment against you. No contest, they told you what that means. It's the same as what? Same as guilt. If you had ever been arrested, you'd know. See, y'all ain't never been arrested. See, you know, growing up in America and not being arrested is like finding gold. If you're black, you don't hardly live in this country and be black and don't get arrested. You see, they find some reason to arrest you. Hey, there's one we missed over there. Get him a record. Well, don't worry. Whatever I say about white people, they ain't gonna say nothing to me. Then you got some stupid out there sitting up trying to suggest that I'm some kind of agent. Yeah, I'm an agent, all right. You know, that's what they call somebody who worked for somebody else. Well, Allah already told you who I am. He said, behold my agent whom I uphold. An agent is a servant. And if I was representing anybody other than Allah, then how come you can't find the words that's coming out of me no place but out of Allah's scripture? Now, that's mighty strange. Certainly, whoever sent you is whose words you using. Brother, you know, all of the prophets, let me show you something. All of them told you that I was coming to you face to face. In the 15th chapter of the Holy Quran, and the 45th verse. Now remember, you see, when I read the scripture, I read them as one. You read them as separate. To you, they are line upon line and precept upon precept. To me, it's one continuous message from Allah. You know. And so, In the 45th verse, it says, surely those who fear God and keep his commandments are in gardens and fountains. Now, what did I just do? No, what did they teach you in English? And then tell me what I just did. You already said it. I just want you to say it again. I substituted the meaning of duty for duty. Since the book says the whole duty of man is to fear God and keep his commandments. Well, surely those who fear God and keep his commandments. And you notice, the sentence still makes sense, don't it? That's what they taught me in elementary school. See, it's certain knowledge that I get from this world, from white people, from their school system, that I know is independent of them. See, and I know which part to hold on to and which part to throw away. You don't know what part to throw away. That's why you're going down with them. You so proud over what you learn from white people. You don't know what's from him and what was independent of him. Truth is independent of anybody and of everybody. The English language is what we gave them to give them a leg up so that they could rule. Let him come in here and say that ain't so. So, it says, surely those who keep their duty, I'm going to just read it like it is. I just was showing you a little experiment there. It says, are in gardens and fountains. Enter them in peace, secure. Why does it say enter them in peace? Because them, we are talking about the Holy Scriptures. And the only way you can enter into the Scriptures is with me in peace. So what is that? A teacher can't teach if it's somebody else trying to talk while they're teaching. The teacher requires peace in the classroom. Peace and what? Quiet. The learning process is a process that requires one to be talking at a time. You see? And so, all teachers want their students to be humble to them while they're in their class, while they're trying to instruct them. They don't want no rebellious student. Is that right? So all rebellious devils that are unthankful for me teaching you, Allah told me to cast into hell every ungrateful, rebellious one. Okay. So, you know, it's certain things that I can't, you know, like the judge. He have some leeway. Certain things he can do and certain things he can't. But with me, Allah have given me authority to execute judgment. If I want to forgive you, I can forgive you. If I don't want to forgive you, the one thing that I can't forgive is blasphemy against the Holy Scriptures when I recite them in their true meaning to you, and you have something blasphemous to say. The Scripture says, blasphemy against the Holy Ghost shall not be forgiven. So, just like when I opened up my meeting and that devil came in here and said, Allah don't know boo-boo. I couldn't believe he did that. So, whatever happened to you, you brought on yourself. You can't. How in the world I'm going to teach people if I'm the only one can talk? A lot of you all say, well, why don't you just mute them out? I'm not a bigot. What is the point of having an interactive conference line if the people that's on the other end, if they have questions or arguments, can't unmute their line and ask questions? Then it's not a conference line. So I lead them lines where you can unmute them. And I like to leave them where you can unmute it and start talking to because I'm trying to teach you civilized behavior. I figure like this. A person wouldn't even be in the room if they wasn't interested in what's being taught. So you don't have to fix the lines where the people can't talk to you. And if they have a legitimate disagreement, then if you're teaching the truth, what are you afraid of? Straighten out the disagreement. So the next verse says, enter them in peace. You notice when you are in these classes with me, and I open up the scriptures with you just like I'm doing now. You notice how peaceful your mind is as I'm reading this? Yeah, that's what makes learning fun. And that's what makes you have respect for the teacher, is that as the teacher begins to read the book with you, you start to see exactly what the book is talking about. That's when it gets fun. Ain't no fun reading something and can't make out what it's talking about or trying to have to figure out what it means. The reading, you got to try to figure out what it means because it wasn't written to you. It was addressed to me. And you know what happened when you go in other folks' mail? You get deluded. And so it says, and we shall root out whatever is of rancor is in their breasts. That's talking about your brain, your mind. As brethren on raised couches, what? Face to face. Now, here the Prophet Muhammad, he prophesied that Allah and his angels will meet with you face to face. Paul said, now we see through a glass darkly, but then, what? Face to face. In the Isaiah, this is very, the 65th chapter. Because while you calling this book a lie, now that I'm here, it's all being fulfilled. It says in the second verse, I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people. Son of man, they are a rebellious house, which walketh in a way that was not good after their own thoughts. Well, to me, that means, Is it? A people that provoketh me to anger continually what?
My face.
Face to face. Little sister called me today and I need some cement work, which is one of the things that I wanted to happen, was that I want our people here in Jefferson County to see that they got talented people here. You don't have to go looking all over. You can hire some of these very people right here in town to do cement work for you and that kind of thing. It's a brother, Mr. Larry Shannon. He's a contractor. I didn't even know Mr. Shannon was a contractor. But, I'm going to hire him, if it pleases Allah, to do some work for us. It's many. You can't. I mean, we talk good religion. We don't believe nothing we talk. I mean, the sister told me, she said, I know y'all do it for free. No, we don't do it for free. I had to pay them people who was doing that cement work. Nobody gave us that. The New Nation of Islam, I took some of y'all's money and paid the people who was working. Don't be going around telling people that we did it for free. No, we did not do it for free. I paid for it. It's just like our bakery. That bakery been there since 2002. And you got people go by it every day. Ain't never bought a crumb out of there. That's how much I'm hated. It ain't y'all now. Remember, it's me they hate. The nigga that think he's God. And before I even told them that, they was hating me. It's all right. It's written. They hated me for no reason, without a cause.
Yes.
You see, but I don't do anything I do depending on y'all. I depend on Allah. Period. Allah will send me the help that I need. And soon he will chastise all of you who hated me without a cause. You think that frightens me because I'm surrounded by people that hate me? I've been in this world for 66 years, surrounded by wicked people. You don't see me walking around trembling. Let the wicked tremble. So, you see, all the books, they tell you face to face. as I was telling brother, I say you reach a point in a card game, thanks poker. Now I ain't never played poker. I think one day I'm gonna learn how to play poker. Then he said, well, you gambling? I didn't say I was gonna play for money. I mean, I just would like to really know how it goes, because I've heard so much. Who is that? Who took their phone off me? Just, huh? Oh. So I remember in that movie, Tombstone, and Wyatt had got him a steak in a saloon, and Doc asked him, I thought you didn't believe in gambling. And he said, I don't believe in gambling, Doc. He said, but you gamble. He said poker is not gambling. And, something to that effect. In other words, it's a game of outthinking the other person. Is you playing, or rather than playing cards, you reading people. And that's, I'm pretty good at reading people. So so I guess I'd be pretty good at poker. But anyway, you know how they talk about body language. People, you go online sometime, look up body language, and you'll see they tell you what this mean and that mean and all that. And sometimes they're right. It don't always mean that. Body language is no different than spoken language. It's more truthful than spoken language. But even body language, you have some motions that actually look the same, but they don't always mean the same thing. Do you understand? So, but for the most part, depending on who you read, for the common person, body language is about 90% true. But when you get into people that are more knowledgeable, then most knowledgeable, civilized people, you can't always go by their body language, because they don't wear their feelings on their sleeve, even though the human body was designed to tell the truth, to manifest what the mind was thinking. But you can learn to master and not broadcast your thoughts, when you are civilized. But anyway, the fool utters all his mind. And most people think that means from the mouth. No, don't necessarily mean from the mouth only. Their deeds and actions be screaming at you. But anyway, so I wanted to so I told brother that in poker, sooner or later someone calls, because somebody at the table bluffing. Everybody can't have the good hand or the winning hand. So I guess that's why they say, I call. Call what? I'm calling your bluff. Do you understand? But I don't know. I ain't never played poker. I'm just listening to the language they use, and I think about how they use these terms. If call means something else, then it means something else. But that's the time where everybody have to show what they have. So if you bluff and they calling your bluff, do you understand? And so you have to show what you have. Now, many people have put so much stock in the education of this world that they have taught us. And we don't like to, you get up and you posture and you, some of the things that you do, like giving each other a bunch of awards and praising people. But what does the praise of a poverty-stricken people mean? I mean, really, what does your praise mean? Now you run around, you praising people like Farrakhan, and you praise all of these big shots. To you, they big shot. Why? Your condition ain't changing. You got all these degrees and you got all this education from white people. Do you know what the purpose of a school system is? What is the purpose of any civilization to set up a school system? That wasn't rhetorical. You always wanted to talk. Where's all these people who always know everything? Unmute your phone and tell me what the purpose of an educational. Why does any civilization set up an educational system? Now I know you know. What's wrong? You don't want to tell me? Oh man, look. That's the difference in me and you. I'll speak the truth even if the truth is against me. All Muslims will. If the only time you will speak the truth is if it's in your favor, well, you're not a truthful person. You are a liar because truth is not a convenience. Truth is that which you live by. The reason civilizations establish school systems is so that they can teach and pass on their knowledge to the generation, from generation to generation, to perpetuate their civilization, to perpetuate their way of life. Well, is it any wonder that you and I haven't been able to shake off slavery? We was educated by a civilization that was interested in perpetuating the system that sprung up from our slavery. Huh? And that's why all of our leaders, they always wind up telling us we need jobs. We need jobs. But what? That's what a slave needs. A slave needs a slave. That's what we used to call it. I'm finna go to my slave, man. You know, when I was younger? Yeah. Man, I got to get down into my slave. What is that meaning? My job. And all of the leaders that you have, they teach you the same thing. Why? Because that's what you went to school for, wasn't it? So you could come out and get a what? A good job. Perpetuating the same civilization that put you in this poverty-stricken condition. And that's why you hate me. Because if I wasn't saying this, you could be at peace with it. If you could just get me to shut up. Isn't that right? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's time that you see it for what it is. You don't have no other leader but me. The rest of them leading you back to the one that you claim you wanted to get away from. You didn't want to get away from them too bad. You ain't set up no school system for yourself to teach your children what they need to know to help you. Matter of fact, you even talk about you want to, if you set up a charter school, you want to go to the same government and ask them for, you know, the credentials and everything. You want their approval and all of that. And you get their approval as long as you're going to teach what they want taught. I ain't going down there to look for no credentials from him to teach my children what he wants them to learn. You thought he had an old saying, teach that nigga a lesson. Yeah. And now you send your children down there for him to teach them lessons. And the lessons they learn is to hate themselves and hate black people and love white folks. And I'm telling you this in front of white people. And if that ain't true, why come he ain't saying nothing? And if this is hate teaching that I'm doing, why ain't he accusing me? Let's see here. You follow liars. You know, you like to be lied to. Yeah, you do. You can tell people like to be lied to, because I remember people saying things and then they go and contradict what they said, and it's like I'm the only one that was listening. Yes. No, I'm going to show you an example. Give me a minute. Let's see here. Now I want you to listen.
The former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, he said today, and I'm quoting him, he said, I'm not going to pay for that, quote, effing wall. So if you don't get an actual check from the Mexican government for $8 or $10 or $12 billion, whatever it will cost, how are you going to make them pay for the wall? I will, and the wall just got 10 feet taller, believe me. Just got 10 feet taller. I saw him make the statement. I saw him use the word that he used. I can only tell you, if I would have used even half of that word, it would have been national scandal. This guy used a filthy, disgusting word on television, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should apologize, okay? Number one. Number two, we have a trade deficit with Mexico of $58 billion a year, and that doesn't include all the drugs that are pouring across and destroying our country. We're going to make them pay for that wall. Now, the wall is $10 billion to $12 billion if I do it. If these guys do it, it'll end up costing $200 billion. The former president.
Well, then why is he threatening now to put the U.S. What you call credit into the toilet if they don't support him putting up the wall? That ain't what he said. He didn't say he was going to threaten to put the U.S. Debt, what they call it, the credit rating of the United States, by defaulting on the credit. He's gonna hold that hostage if America don't pay for the wall. That's not what he said when he was running. He talking about he want to keep a campaign promise. The campaign promise was he was going to make Mexico pay for that wall. See, you like liars because you a liar. I ain't blaming him. I'm blaming all you rednecks and crooks out there that pretend that, you know, he never said nothing until now. The man said he's going to make Mexico pay for a wall. Then why is he threatening to not raise the debt ceiling if the Congress don't put the money in there for the wall? You know, in order to have pants on fire, you got to have some pants on. Be naked. Just lie nakedly. It's still on YouTube. Of course, everything on YouTube. If you lie a lot, you better stay off of YouTube, because all they have to do is get back and play what you said. Unless you pull the Eddie Murphy, wasn't me. Does somebody look like no, it wasn't me. Is that right? Somebody doctored that tape. Well, that's what a hypocrite is. A hypocrite is just it's a large word for liar. It's just another word that means liar. So, you know, I mean, you do what you please. You know, you go on and do your thing. It's just like a brother asked me about the ships running into each other out there. That was a warship. You know, they ain't had no been running into nothing. But I told you your mind is evaporating. I've been told y'all that. You said, well, all that big ocean out there, but you don't understand. It just looked like it's a big ocean. When they traveling from one country to another and traveling between continents, they have what are called shipping lanes. Now, it don't take no rocket scientist to figure out why you would have shipping lanes. For one thing, there's always a shortest route, which is the straighter the line that you travel, the shorter the distance that it is. Do you understand? So even though it's a great big ocean, it's a great big continent here. Mississippi is a big state compared to the highways. But you see people wrecking each other out there. Now, all this big old state, but the highway ain't real big. You got to stay in your lane. They call them shipping lanes. And I tell you something else. That makes all the sense in the world when you understand that sometimes people get in trouble out there. Well, if you way off somewhere out of a lane, who's gonna see you? If something done happened to you, you're just a blowed up duck. Is that right? And I ain't talking about Affleck either. No. They have shipping lanes. And so I can understand how they can be out there running into each other, especially when the mind gets confused. You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait until you up in the plane and the pilot forget how to fly. Then you will understand who I am. I told you. It's not a request. When God said, "Let there be light," that wasn't no request. That was a command. What is the whole duty of man? Keep his what? Let this mind be in you that was also in Christ. In other words, let me teach you. You say, "You ain't teach me nothing, nigga." Okay. All right. You ain't gonna have no mind after a while. Talking about what you gonna do to me. You ain't gonna do nothing to me. You gonna do it all to yourself. So I've offered. Don't ever say you ain't nobody. I got plenty of witnesses that I stood before the whole world. I told them who call themselves Muslims that I'm the Mahdi. Do you hear any of them saying that ain't so? Then why they ain't submitting? Oh, it's racist everywhere. We done already straightened out the thing about racism. The black man can produce all of their colors, and all of them together can't produce a black man. Then what that mean? The black man is father. The black man is the daddy. That's why I was told, call no man on earth father. I look like calling white people father. I walk up to one of my sons, "Daddy, can you tell me what I look like calling him daddy?" Only reason he know how old he is because I told him. Let him tell me where I was born and how old I am. So no, I told you, we got to show what everybody got. I want to see what you're holding. I'm calling your bluff. You run around here talking about God. Oh, where's all these people who said God sent them? God called them 15 years ago. How did he call you? Was he on the telephone or bullhorn, or did you dream it, or what did you do? And if he called you, and I'm asking you what does his word mean, and you giving me what you think, then you need to go back and tell him he should have left you sleep. Since he wasn't going to give you the understanding of his word, what'd he call you for? You notice that term is a play with words, because I'm calling all of you. And when I called, none did answer. Remember Adam? He heard the voice of the Lord in the cool of the day. And he said, "Adam, where are you?" And he finally showed up. He said, "How come you didn't come when I was naked?" Huh? So you did what I told you not to do, didn't you? Huh? Yeah. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Minister Farrakhan. Now, why would you suppose he would tell him? And Minister Farrakhan said he told him. He said, brother, don't change the teachings after I'm gone. Why would he tell him that? He fessed up. He confessed that a long time ago. Why do you suppose the messenger told him that? So that he couldn't say that he wasn't told. Well, he even knew, the messenger knew that the whole world was going to lift him up. He said, yeah, when he turned hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. Do you know that if I was not speaking the truth, somebody would have been and came in here and pointed that out? You finally saw that I told you what it was all the time. When I told you I was trying to get his ministers to set up a meeting, that brother came in here. What was his name? You got a record of it. You look it up. But anyway, the fella said, he told us to just ignore you. He told us, what did I tell y'all before he said that? I told y'all Farrakhan had told them people, just ignore me. Ain't that something? Algeria. And he finally, he said it without that, like that woman. What that woman named that accused Dr. Cosby? Janice Dixon. She said, we are the stronger race before she realized what she had said. They ain't had her back over there since after. Yeah. Because behind closed doors, they had talked it over and had boasted that, don't worry, all you got to do, you white, and who is he? You get a bunch of white women saying a nigga raped him, he threw. Huh? And she said, women, you just don't know your power. You know, and they didn't know how her brain had been burnt up with all that stuff she'd been using. So she got out there and got excited. And so she said what she heard them say. We are the stronger race. That's what she said. You probably can find it online. Huh? It's on there. You see, you all got to know the truth. You know, I mean, how many of y'all saw X-Men Future Past? I bet you didn't pay no attention to that Vietnamese when he was the Vietnamese captain or general, when he was talking about the man told him to go slow on the alcohol, and he told him, it's not every day you defeat, you win a war, especially against the American devils. Now, he wrote that into the script. And why say American devils? Because it's devils other than America. It's devils everywhere now. Here a devil, there a devil, everywhere a devil. Huh? Because that's what Yaqub made. He made devils. You just don't know. It's a whole lot that wasn't told. But it's time for everybody to know now, because you got to be given a chance to sidestep the destruction that's finna come on the devil. no matter where he's from, and no matter what skin he's in. So, anybody got a disagreement with me? Why don't y'all go find somebody who disagrees and willing to talk about it? Most of them that's got a disagreement scared to say it. Let him be your fear, and let him be what? There's one of them lets again. So, when he ran, he said Mexico was going to pay for the wall. Now he's saying that the American people are going to pay. Now check this out. He wants the American people to pay for something that they condemned Russia for. Just think now. Who you think is behind that? You remember when President Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Huh? Now who talking about building the wall? Thanks to who? And his son said, when he was asked what his favorite city was, his son said Moscow. And this is the family that they got for president of the United States, who couldn't find no city in America that he's his favorite city. So he went to Russia and found his favorite city. And you know when something is your favorite, that's where you want to be. You think it's an accident they got this show come on called The Americans? Russian spies and pretending to be American citizens. Right? Now, if that ain't the... oh, I'm telling you. It's really sad. I pity you. It's just like people in the done bought into this, what they call flat earth thing. Is that what they call it? Flat earth? Yeah. Now, you know, it's a shame when the mind starts backing up on you. You know, I mean, I guess next the sun will be circling the earth. What do you think? I didn't hear you.
They'll probably say that.
Well, it had to be. I mean, what the square turning? I mean, you know, I mean, I don't understand that one. But you know, these are the same people that said the black man is inferior. How in the world do that which came out of you suggest that it's stronger than you? If you're so strong in the mind, come on in here. Let me test your strength. Do you know how strong we had to be to let you raise us from babies, to fear you, and to hate ourselves? And now we standing up talking back to you, not as an equal, but as your Lord. What does that say about all that lies you've been telling? If you had put other people through what happened to us, those people would have been destroyed by now. Now, I'll grant you, the majority of my people, they're going to be destroyed. But not all of us. Some are going to believe in me, they're going to accept me, and we're going to build a civilization unequal to any that has ever been or will ever be. And then we're going to make the earth into a beautiful garden. And then we are going to, after we get all this straight here, then together we are going to go and populate our universe. And we're not going to even remember that you was ever here. Ain't nobody going to remember the devil. That's right. The former things shall not even come into our minds. No. That's right. And all we gonna see is our family. You know, the human family of the planet Earth. Without the devil being involved. Do you understand? Okay. So you just go on, and you got a little time left to make up your mind whether or not you're going to accept me. And then that's going to be the end. You know, as you have watched me go from being underdog to the champion over all. You notice whoever I talk about, they can't say nothing. And it's not because I don't let them. It's because they can't think of nothing that they could say that wouldn't make them look like a fool. The mind that's in me is so high that you can't get over it. It's so low, you can't get under it. So wide, you can't get around it. I told you it's the twin to the universe. Wherever you are, we are there, waiting on you. So, I don't mean no harm to you. I don't wish ill on any human being. You bring ill on yourself by rejecting me. That's as simple as I can put it. Now, I want to, he looked pretty bad standing up there now. After going, where was that he went yesterday? Arizona. Talking about promising them people that he gonna build the wall. And then one of them say, well, wait a minute. You didn't say you was going to hold the debt ceiling hostage. You said Mexico was going to pay for it. You know why? Because every one of them that support him is a liar. Do you hear what I said? They hear me? If I was talking about you like this, wouldn't you be hearing it? All right, then. They're welcome to come in here. promise you, I will not disrespect you. I will let you put forth what it is that you thought he said. Because I can go and let you hear him promising it to more than one audience. He didn't just say it to Wolf. He said it to everybody that would listen. Didn't he? And then punked out when he got in front of the Mexican, when he went there with the Mexican president and had that meeting with him. He didn't even bring up the wall, did he? Let me tell you something. Here's a man that wants to build a wall for $12 billion, but he wants to do away with health care for the American people. He thinks that the wall is worth more than your good health. And you, so stupid, you don't see that that's the equation. Since when did America, now let me tell you something here. If America needs a wall to protect its borders, what does that say about the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines? Are you aware that Camp Pendleton is right there on the border of the U.S. and Mexico? Now, I was in the Marines, brother. We weren't scared somebody was going to come over from Mexico acting the fool. No, you ask, I tell you what you do. Ask the commandant of the Marine Corps, do they need a wall? He'll tell you, no, we the wall. And I'm going to tell you something else. The reason Russia built the wall was to keep their people from leaving. That's what the wall was for. Are you aware of the Statue of Liberty and what its inscription is? They don't care. I told you a bunch of Nazis and a bunch of, and I'm going to tell you something else. It's a lot more patriots than you think in the Marine Corps. It's a lot more patriots than you think in the Army and in the Navy and in the Air Force. And you keep on stirring up that hornet's nest if you want, they're going to come get you. Do you know how many Americans died in the war between Germany? And you out here putting a swastika in the middle of stars and stripes? Okay. All right, don't say I didn't warn you. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad warned you. He said, you're going to see people killing each other out in the street and their blood running down in the gutter of the street. You good at attacking unarmed people, running over, kill that poor girl because she's out there doing what you was doing. You wanted the right to demonstrate and what you march. You got permission, you said. Ain't that what they said? They got permission, right? The girl had permission to be out there too. The Constitution gave her that permission. Along with those other people who were picketing and demonstrating in Charlottesville, Virginia. And so what does the coward do? He takes his car and runs over people because they disagreed with him. And that's your idea of America being great again. Keep on. You know, sometimes It take a little more to wake up a person that's been asleep and was pretty sleepy. But you keep on. You're going to wake up a patriotism in this country that's going to rout you out and put you out. You watch what I tell you. Germany don't want you. Now, ain't that something? Even Germany don't want Hitler. You got to be pretty stupid. That's what I said. You got to be pretty stupid to be picking up something that you saw that the man who was at the head of it, he wasn't even man enough to go down fighting. He went somewhere and blew his own brains out. That's a coward. But he sent those other men off. General Rommel, he wasn't no coward. Most of those men that gave their lives, they weren't cowards. But the leader of them, they didn't know how big a coward he was. Because he talked a lot. But when it all came down, anytime you a soldier and you take civilians, that's just like a boxer. If a boxer goes out and starts challenging people on the street, I don't care what they say to him. He ain't got no business out there on the street whooping up on people. Because he's a professional. And they are amateurs, or they don't have no win against him. Is that right? Well, how long do you think these people that's in the military are going to let you keep running down their people and running over civilians and whatnot? And their job is to defend this country. And the Constitution is the rights of the people. And they said they were protected from all enemies, foreign and those who live here, domestic. And I'm with them on that. I live here. Now, the thing for you to do, if you hate the people of America, just leave. Go on over there to that city you love so much. Anyway, let's go. I can't get these people to say nothing to me, can I? Well, if somebody was talking about me like I'm talking about them, I'd say, wait, let me get in here and straighten out these lies this man telling. Because if I didn't get in there to straighten out the lies, people might realize that it must be the truth. Huh? Well, let's go a little bit further here. It's time to go back to the theology of time.
So you had a question.
Yes.
Not on your topic though. Brother Darrell asked, can you shed some light on Matthew chapter 14, verses 13?
Well, no, we ain't going there. I'm getting ready to get into the theology of time. And in Matthew, the 13th chapter, where Jesus was talking about the sowers and all of that, I done taught on that before anyway. So you all just wait, and I'll grant you a chance to ask those questions, but I want to get back into the theology of time. So give me a minute here. I'm going to have to play it on another one now. This thing here is tripping. So, give me a minute.
Life and health, all that have that wrong with it. But I want to show you that I can live your life. Maybe I didn't come out of
That is the power that Allah gave to us, that we can live like you. That's because we get the experience of living like you. This makes us understand you then. Then we are able to overcome it and then invite you to overcome it too and show you how. Do you understand? Okay.
As you know, the next or the past 6 or 7 weeks, I was up here. Yes, brother. That's right, brother. But today you hear me speaking. As the Bible says, getting out the secret of the Hill and Baal. Baal told him when he asked him, "Why did you beat me these 3 times?" He said, "Because." The Baal says, "Because you mocked me." He never said why and what was the mock. That the donkey was mocking him with. He never did say that the mock was due to the nature in which he was made. And the donkey had learned that by the nature in which his master was made in, that he shouldn't be carrying him on his back. So he looked around, he stopped, and he said, "Get out, man."
You notice, that's why the white man beat the black man in America. He didn't used to have to beat him to keep him in his place. But even in that story of the donkey in Balaam, the donkey spoke with the voice of man. And he said, all these years, was I ever wont to obey you? Did I ever disobey you? He said, no. Then Balaam's eyes came open, and he saw that angel standing there. The donkey saw him. Balaam didn't see him. And the angel told him, if that donkey hadn't stopped, I was going to slay you. Huh? Whatever it takes to free you, that's what's going to happen. White people ought to know that the black man was as scared of them as the old saying go, a possum is an axe handle. Well, then if all of a sudden now we standing up and ain't scared, well, what's done happened? you better wake up and recognize that God is with us. Now, it looks like some of you starting to see who I am. Well, good. That way, you don't have to be destroyed. But if you want to keep on trying to force your way in the day where you was told, it's the Lord's day. Don't do your work, and thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. So if you want to have a peaceful life, then you ask me, what can you do to help me to help my people? But if you keep trying to stop me from being able to help my people, you soon ain't gonna be sucking air on this planet. Now,
And what he said, it was meaning, get off of my sight, you are not such that should rise me. I should be riding you. You must, from this day on, remember that you have been the donkey for the white man. Remember that. Yes, I feel pretty well. Eating the hog. Doctors won't tell you to stop eating the hog because they want the job. But not that they don't know that the hog is a poison out, which should not be touched by man's flesh.
if you don't stop eating pig, pig gonna eat you. Them poison worms that's in that creature, you have been being protected from them. But they are going to start multiplying inside of you, and you are going to be ate up from the inside out. As the book says, and their worm dieth not. I don't want you to think that I'm bluffing here. I'm going to let you see this, because you good for saying it ain't so. Well, let's see. The worms that's in this swine, in the pig, they are his worms. But once you eat him, they become your worms. Even though God told you, you shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. It is unclean to you. Okay. Now I want you to go to Mark, the 9th chapter. I'm going to let you see these things. You're not going to be able to say that I don't believe that. In the 9th chapter of Mark, we're going to start reading at, just give me a minute here, see where I want to start at. It says, This is the 42nd verse. And whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, it is better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he were cast into the sea. That's how much Allah loves his prophets who humbled themselves to him. He said, and if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. You know, many times people say, hey man, lend me a hand over here. But the minute that fella, instead of lending a hand, starts trying to take over, what you do with him? Say, go on about your business, man. I asked you to help me. I didn't ask you to come over here and take over. Right? If your hand offend you, cut it off. And it says, it is better for thee to enter into life maimed without that member than having two hands to go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched. The only fire that you never can quench is wickedness. When a person fall in love with evil, ain't nothing you can do with that. Nothing you can say or do to make them stop practicing and being fuel for the fire of wickedness. Do you understand? Why you think we call them the wicked? Do you know what a wick is? What is a wick? It's the fuel rag that the candle burns, that allows the candle to keep burning. It's the wick. It's just like in a kerosene lamp. The wick is that cloth part that soaks up the fuel, and then as it keeps soaking up the fuel, instead of it getting burned up completely, it gets burned up eventually. You have to replace it, but it don't get burned up right away because the fire is burning what it soaked up rather than the wick itself. Is that right? Okay. I'm just making you sure you understand that I understand. It says, if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into life maimed than having two hands to go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched, where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched. Huh? Wickedness burneth as the fire. And these people eat swine like the book said, the devil said, let us go into the swine. Huh? So all of them eating swine, now everybody eating swine. Yeah. Eating worms. You know what trichinosis is? It comes from the trichina worm. And when it weave its way up into your brain, you just about done had it. And you got nerve enough to come in here and insulting me with all that poison you full of. Your worm ain't gonna die no more. Allah make them die because you didn't know. But now we have made clear to you.
Well, when a man wants a job, you can't fault him for your time to find him one.
And he told the truth on the doctor. The doctor know pig ain't good for you. Why you think you get high blood pressure, he tell you can't eat no more swine for a while, no more pork for a while? Why? How you know you've been eating? That's one of the major symptoms of hog eating. What are you doing? Turn around. And you sit there and pay attention. That's one of the major symptoms of pig eating. High blood pressure. I ain't gonna get into the depth of it with you. I'm just telling you, if you've been eating it, stop. You're not gonna be protected from it no more. I done spoke to you now. If you believed that I was the Lord and I told you to stop doing something, you'd stop. But you don't believe. So?
But I say to you, tell your doctor, don't eat hog. You'll be a doctor for a long time. Those little poke worms that you call that weave through our flesh. And they keep weaving till they get into the spinal cord. And they keep weaving, building up a family into millions everywhere you go. They are not the kind of worms that will prolong your life. They will shorten your life. Don't eat hog. Don't eat no kind of meat if you can help it. But if you will eat meat, eat the best of the meat. The sheep's meat, it is not no glorified meat, but it's better meat than the rest of the meat. Don't eat either kind if you can help it. There's no meat that is good to eat, so God taught you. If you just...
Now, you know why? Even though the messenger called it meat, he's talking about flesh. No animal flesh is good for you to eat. What are you actually doing? You are eating decaying flesh. Dead flesh. So we want to get you away from that. You notice your teeth wasn't made like lions and tigers and all of that. Your teeth ain't sharp like that. They weren't made to be eating tearing flesh. Our teeth are more for grinding. And, it's a lot that I could share with you that I'm not going to get into with you right now because I just want you to, right now, you need to stop eating pig. And eventually we'll take you off of beef too. But beef you can eat, as long as you ain't pumped full of all them steroids and stuff. But the white man, he think more of profit than he do of people. And that's why you can't hardly find anything decent to eat now. He poisoned everything.
Let's have a piece of meat. Go take that little young pigeon that never fallen away from his nest. Eat him. But after you leave his nest, don't eat him. When I went to Egypt for the first time, I saw those big pigeons one morning coming in early to Cairo. They look like little cages of birds that we cage up there when I looked out and saw it. So I went down to the market to look at them there. And when I went to the market there, so all of these little birds, I said, those are the birds we need in America. That whole truckload of them coming in like the chicken raisers here, come in with their fries. Full of birds. I want to say again, I didn't see a piece of hog coming in. I want to say again, you don't go among Muslim asking for no hog. So he'll show you the way out. This dirty, low-blood animal lives off filth. You get off of anything that is too filthy for him to eat. He is a dirty rat. And he's so dumb, if you feed him, you'll never look up to see where it's coming from until you stop dropping it down for him. Then you run all the way there looking for another mouthful of that food, but his nose in the ground. When he gets through, he goes driving his nose up in the ground looking to see if anything went down in the earth. He'll cut up the earth for you. He is a no good owl. He got a ugly eye. Don't eat the owl. When you eat him, your children born from you, they will have some of his characteristics going along with the head hung down, having muddy, very shooken eyes. Don't eat that down, please. You'll never see the hereafter if you keep salt in your hand, in your mouth, in that place. They won't let you live near to them. Nope. They're wise. God said, son, Moses, don't eat that cow. Don't touch that cow. Think over that. Don't touch this cow. He's a forbidden cow until you eat. There's the devil come along. What's wrong with it? I don't see nothing wrong with that cow. His meat is good to me. And say, you devil, you go ahead, that's what it was made for.
And I guarantee you, now that I done spoke to you, I bet you're going to find what's wrong with it. Keep eating it. You're not going to be protected from it no more.
Well, God made him, he made him for us all. Except what he make all, what he makes is good and very good. Brother, you have learned the truth. He made the hog to cure the white man's disease. This is medicine. The hog is a medicine. I used to in the South, if I got the fall on me, I'd go cut off a piece of that pork, applied to that coming ball there, boil. And it would help bring it, you know, to an end. By bringing up all of that poison to the face. Then I busted. And there go the poison that was making me sick. Running out. And then I go now and eat that thing. Oh, brother. It's terrible. Let us never eat another piece of hog as long as we live 20,000 years. a people that hear this today. You won't be classified as a good member of first-class society, and you won't see the kingdom of God. Not one false leader will enter the kingdom of heaven unless you stop teaching the house. This is one teaching God gives me special. Don't you eat no house. Over there in the dominant society of Islam, if you mention the name of it, they don't want you in their society. Don't even talk about a hall in that I had experience. I've been over there and I visited both holy cities, Mecca and Medina, and all the others here in what they call the Near East Holy Land. So you're not listening to a man who has some knowledge of what he's talking about, and the people in which it came from, and they're not observing it all their life. I'm a man that have visited the people of Mecca and Medina, and what you call the Near East here now in Egypt, and the northern part of Africa. So I'm not saying things that I know what I'm talking about. I have a captain here that has visited all of these places herself, and that's why I choose them for our captain. Because she had experience of the people of Islam and other than Islam. And she can help me with my women and teaching them the knowledge and characteristics of the Muslim woman. And then if she don't carry in the practice itself, I got a big lake over here. I want to teach the real. I'm bringing out to you a very beautiful book on that. It will be a hardback. And you're going to like it. And I'm not going to try to get rich on you in price. I don't want that because I want to give you the truth. But what it costs me to get the book in shape to be published, I have to pay the man. They won't give it to me. So then I have to charge you a little something. But it'll be out probably before the year's out. Then you have that nice little hardback book with golden letters on it, how to live, which means how to live and have life that you are satisfied and you love to live that life because you get something from that life. I reckon you all say he certainly does teach a long time. You can make life faster than you can remake it. I hope you understand.
So I guess I better make you understand. He said you can make life faster than you can remake it. As you say, I guess you say he sure do teach a long time. You got to teach a longer time when somebody else already went before you teaching something. When you teaching somebody who ain't been taught nothing before, it don't take as long. But when you teaching someone that have been mistaught, but they believe they've been taught right, well, then you got to take longer, because now you got to argue and you got to explain everything, and you get all kind of questions and arguments. And so it takes longer to remake life than it takes to make life. And that is what the messenger was saying. It's just like it takes much longer to remodel a house than it does to just build one from scratch. Because you got double work. You got to tear down before you can build up. And but if you start and it ain't nothing to have to tear down, while that man tearing down, you busy building up already. Do you understand? So it always takes longer to remake something than it did to make it. Do you understand? Especially if you're remodeling the thing. So.
The natural man has been studying this all man history throughout history. To live long. His life becomes so short after the devil was made and mixed in the black man, the original man, all after him. Too short in his life. That he has been praying to God all the while, night and day, how to live, how to prolong his life. This has been the study of the saints, all these millions of hours, how to lengthen man's life. And it's simple, but the enemy makes it a very pleasant study. But it's simple. In the hereafter, there will be no doubt. It's only for such things as bruises and broken limbs.
That's because the human body is not the fragile creation that they try to make it look like. The human body, if you nourish it properly, it will never get sick. The human body is very resilient. Look how long people live and eating poison all their life. Eating pig and some everything else. And some people live over 100 years old. Just think if you had known how to truly eat and take care of this body, it was built to last. If you don't believe that the body was built to last, then how do you explain how long the bones last even after they're not in flesh no more? They be there a long, long time after the flesh gone. Which means that this body was built to last. You just don't know how to make it last because you've been following the one that the book says had misunderstood everything. His name that sat up on that pale horse was death, and hell followed with him. Whosoever of them will follow you, I will certainly do what? Fill hell with them all. Yeah. And so you misunderstand. The white man, he learned to talk like he really know what he's talking about. And just like this Weight Watcher stuff, they advertising all the time. He done heard the teachings of the messenger, and he tell you to drink a shake in the morning or one at noon and then eat a sensible meal. In other words, eat one meal a day. That's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you a long time ago. But you don't believe it unless white folks did. So he take it and sell it to you. Tell you he's going to supply you with some good food stuff. Well, I'm telling you.
But not for the physical, here off the physical body. And there are people over there right now, I ran into them, that they are ashamed to tell you if they feel sick. Because they know they should stay well. Go then and meet them for yourself. If they are sick, they're ashamed to tell you. Because they made themselves sick. That sickness comes from your own suffering from like another man. It is not that God creates sickness for you. He can create death for you. We kill ourselves by not knowing how to live. You can, and I can, live as long as I want, then you can live as long as you want. If you know how to eat to live. And the water of our earth being poisoned by this fluoride devil. That is your eyes thought. By taking even the water, they have learned how to poison.
Yeah. Then he sell you water that's supposed to be good for you after he done polluted all the other water. You got the answer for all of these things that you're doing after your time was up. You were told to stop your work in my day. Everyone who practicing evil now, you are doing evil out of time. Don't say I didn't warn you.
And that he is the one who punishes us in our things for our lives. And he's fixing us up too. He knows that he's going. He knows that the black man is going to put that going to him. He knows that. Therefore he's angry with black man, seeks to destroy every black man on the face of the earth. But leave me alone. I don't care how good you think, you beautiful snake, eyed and blue-eyed devil look to you. He wants to destroy you. And does everything to destroy you and me. Today. Not tomorrow, but today. Oh, would that you understood. Well, how you going to escape? I'm going to follow my God and do everything he tells me to do. Don't think that they mean any good to you and me. No. He comes to me and laughs. How you do, Mr. Muhammad? How you do, Mr. Jones? Shaking his hand. Hope I would have death in our heart for you. Yes, brother, because the time have arrived. I'm waiting. For what? Mr. Muhammad to live. My beloved brothers and beautiful sisters, you are beautiful. Soon after this war, about going out on the warrior, he's going to bring you in, as the Bible says. that it's not yet, we don't know yet what we will be like, but we know that we will be like him. Why? Because he must make us like him in order to prove his civilization he makes. If we don't look like him, then he could deny making us. And we could deny being made by him. But we will be made like him. So he told me all about that. That's a great long lecture within itself.
Yes, that's prophesied. As I am the first and the last. And everyone that is of my body, my followers, must become like that. Natural and spiritual. That we will be complete. There is no complete human beings other than me right now. But as you come to class, as you listen to me, you are becoming a complete man and woman. As it said that is he not powerful to give life to the dead? And in the 74th chapter, or 75th chapter of the Holy Quran, that Allah, he made for me men and women. I think it's chapter 75. Yes. It said in the 36th verse, does man think that he will be left aimless? I'm that man that is talking about. It said, then was he not a small life germ in sperm emitted or let forth? Then he was a clot, so he created him, then made him what? Perfect. You approve of that. I asked you, what is the imperfection you found in me? Everybody shut their mouth. Then it says, then he made of him. Of means by. Two kinds. Male and the female. Yes. I'm teaching the men and the women. The boys and the girls. I'm making them like me. And you notice, you're not so, the longer you listen to me, the harder it is for you to get angry with people. And you're not so quick-tempered. You are learning to forgive people. You learn to treat people like you want to be treated, regardless of how they acted toward you. And you notice when a person get up and don't care what they let fly out of their mouth, it's because they have no respect for the person they're talking to. They don't care who hear them. It's because they don't care about anybody. Do you understand? So, you know, it's the ignorant wear savagery on their arm as though it's a badge of honor. Do you understand? When any fool, any baby can boo-boo on your rug, can boo-boo in public. You ain't got no better sense than that. He'll urinate right there on your couch. You have to be taught manners. They don't just come to you. As the book says, the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth has to be taught to all generations. You see? And so you know, when I see it from the president, I mean, you hear the man, there used to be a time when people ask who you want to be like. They say the president. Well, if you want to be like this current president, then you don't care what you let fly at your mouth, and you don't care how disrespectful you are to other people. And so this, you know, and you wear that like it's something to be looked up to. Well, you know, they're not civilized. You know, if he had made his money in business instead of inherited it and then just let it sit there and collect interest, then the first thing you learn in business is how to treat your customers. Even customers that you don't like, when they walk through your door, you act like you like them. You don't, and if you got an employee that's talking rough and gruff to your customers, he's fired or she's fired immediately. Because you know that if it wasn't for them customers, you wouldn't have no business. So you bite your tongue. If the customer fussing, then you let them fuss. And you try your best to deal with whatever it is they are troubled about. Because that customer, even though that's one person, they could go out and badmouth your business and start killing your business. Do you understand? That's what's meant when they say the customer's always right. It means that whoever walked through your door, that's the right person. If he's a customer, that's the right person. It means that, and it also means even if you win the argument with a customer, you lose. Because most people are not good losers. So it would be better that you make peace with them and do it quickly. Now, how come he don't know that if he's such a businessman? How come he don't know how to talk to people? Because he didn't make his money in business. He inherited most of it, and it just sit up and draw interest. So, you know, I mean, that's why he has so many bankruptcies. It's because he really didn't know nothing about business. Why does he not care? Why would he threaten to put the United States in default in its debts? Because that's what he's been doing with his own businesses. He don't see nothing wrong with that. And is that going to make America great again? As he say, great again? If he didn't think America was already great, well then, is his idea of making it great again is defaulting on the good faith and credit of the U.S.? Putting up a wall as good as saying our army, our Marines, and all of them ain't strong enough to protect our borders. We need a wall. Bye. Anyway, let's go on.
What you will look like in the hereafter.
So I'm getting you wiser so that you can, you know, you can't be stupid and follow me. I ain't got no stupid followers. The only ones that's stupid is them who was just sitting here wasn't paying attention. And they not following. They just hear. The one thing that you are not justified to be under me is stupid. Am I clear? All right.
He have given me that knowledge and how you will be changed into that way. So I have all of that in my little big head here. But you as a child, you must know your alphabet first. I'm looking for help. I'm looking for the black man that knows something about how to build and how to tear down. I want both a wrecker and a builder.
So you see, he got WD, a wrecker, and he got me. He found me, the builder. You see, you notice the mind that I build up in you. When you go sit and try to listen to somebody else teach, they might hold your attention for 2 minutes. And you can't listen no longer. Because what? You know they don't know what they're talking about. Especially if they call themselves teaching the word of God. So, I'm building up a mind that ain't never been here before. In human beings. I mean, I can't guide you if I don't first expand your mind to agree with me. You see? You see, I'm building up in you faith. So you're learning that you can trust me. Because what? I'm building up trust in you. You see that I don't say that we can do this or I'm going to do this and don't get it done. It's going to get done. You see that I'm not just standing up here talking about anybody behind their back. I leave my forum open to whoever wants to talk to me. If I say something, then if it was just me throwing it out there when someone questioned me on it, then you would see I wouldn't have no answer. It's like when Royal said that my teachings was full of errors. He threw that out there behind my back. And when I confronted him about it, he saw the only thing that he could point out was he said, well, you're saying you the Son of Man. And I told him, that's not my teachings. That's who I'm telling you that I am. Now, what am I teaching that's erroneous? He didn't have nothing. If I tell you your teachings is full of error, I can point it out to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said it. If I tell you all of you got false religion, I can point that out and prove to you that what I'm saying is true. If you don't believe it, bring your religion in here and tell it to me, and I will show you that it ain't worth the breath that it took you to say it. I'm the only one with the true religion. If it's not mine, it's false. Now, you will say, you have the audacity. Yes, I have the audacity to say it because I can prove it.
So if you will write me, tell me what you can do and what you're willing to do for me and my work that you are learning now very fast. Do something for yourself, Philip, for the black man, whatever you can. We have a job here on the south side that I'm determined to bring it to.
Now remember, he had just said he was looking for a wrecker and a builder. Let him go. I think his mother is gone. He's looking for a wrecker and a builder. What does that say about those who was already there? Huh? Okay, well, they wasn't they wasn't qualified to wreck or build anything while he was there. Huh? Okay. Now, listen.
Make the black man rule himself in us.
Sure couldn't wreck it while the messenger was there, huh? That's why the messenger said that Allah will take me away, then you will do what you know how to do. Huh? He said, but while I'm here, I must work. Huh? He said, some of my young brothers now think that I'm too old, that someone younger must take my place. He said, if Allah took me away, you couldn't carry on. When Allah took him away, did they carry on? All them so-called mental giants.
You'll be on. I will teach you how. As you see on my rule, all the time they are coming along far. They soon can go for themselves. Some of them are already going for themselves. This is what I want. I want you to be yourself and rule yourself. Don't step out before now you get your diploma. Lest you come running back to me. Wait till I tell you that you can go for self. Don't try before you get the diploma or your degree, if you have already gotten a diploma, some part of this work over some part of this work, get not your degree. I thank you and all of these citizens, people that is visiting us this afternoon, and these scholars and scientists that we have among us here. I hope that you will remember to write me and visit me again. This is my house here. You'll find me here. Grateful and thankful to Allah for you. I want you to follow me to save your life. Go home tonight and listen to what the radio is telling you. And if you give it, you are taking, you will say, Muhammad is telling me the truth. I better run for my life. There is much more that I would like to say to you that you probably wouldn't have sufficient to listen.
Now, I want you to listen to this real good, because you've heard Minister Farrakhan try to suggest that the messenger told you to follow him after he wasn't here no more. Lying. But he know you didn't know. And the sad part is, they selling these CDs, the Theology of Time, and you didn't even take the time to listen to the messenger. Otherwise, you would have known that they was taken out of context what the messenger was saying, because the messenger had already told everybody that wasn't nobody coming behind him but the Lord God. That's what he said. And he also said that in the same Theology of Time lecture, which you will hear him, when the brother asked him about naming people, he said, I could name you. He said, but I'm expecting him here pretty soon. And I don't want to be so smart to let him come and find me taking over his job. Well, if he was expecting somebody pretty soon, what did that say about everybody that was already there? Farrakhan was already there. W.D. Muhammad was already in the nation. All them fellas that's teaching you other than me. They was already there. And I showed up actually in around December of 72. I went to the temple, but I showed up at Savior's Day in 73. And as he said, the Savior has arrived. That's what he told everybody. I didn't know he was talking about me.
Because I can stand here the way I feel right now. So. I want you to remember the day I had one of my greatest teachers here. Going along with me. Behind me is really typical people, bro. Come on up here. Up here where they can see you. We have with us today our great national preacher. The preacher who don't mind going into New York, one of the most worst towns in our nation. It is our brother in Detroit and Chicago, New York. But I want you to remember.
Now, the messenger gave him that name, Farrakhan, and he never told him what it meant. He told him he'd tell him in the after. Because if he had told him what it meant, then Farrakhan would have known that the messenger saw through him. And all that false praise and all that pretension, the messenger saw him. And his name means forger of lies who hid himself. And that is, that's why he kind of chuckled when he said, well, you hiding back there behind the sycamore tree. Come on out here where the people can see you. You see, where he was like them time when he sat up there thinking the messenger was jealous of him. And he said, the messenger's jealous of me because they praising me instead of him. Some of the ministers were sitting around praising Farrakhan. And the messenger hit the table and he said, yes, he's very well known, all right. So that when he turns, he didn't say if he turns hypocrite. He said so that when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. You see? But if he had told him the meaning of his name, then Farrakhan would have known that the messenger saw him then, gave him that name. So, anyway, I want you to listen. I'm going to back it up just a little.
Worst towns in our nation. It is our brother in Detroit and Chicago, New York. But I want you to remember, every week he is on the air, help me to reach those people that I can't get out of my house and go reach like you. I want you to pay good attention to his preaching. His preaching is a bearing of witness to me and what God has given to me. This is one of the strongest national preachers that I have in the mountains of North America. Everywhere you hear him, listen to him. Everywhere you see him, look at him. Everywhere he has eyes, you go. little right here. All you say some people. So we are thankful to our Lord for this great helper of mine, Minister Farrakhan. He's not a proud man. He's a very humble man. If he can carry you off the lake without dropping you in.
You notice, he ain't pretending to be humble no more. Humble people, you talk to them when you want to talk to them. Huh? Like me. Anybody can talk to me. It's just because I'm not self-important. You notice people call me all the time. Because I have my phone with me. I just have my earbud in. I said, "This is the Son of Man. May I help you?" Ain't no secretary to put me through. I be working. And I let people know this is me. It's the Son of Man. And may I help you? You see, so people, they got the wrong understanding. Now, he puts on a show of humility, but he ain't got no humility. Mr. Big Shot. And most of the time, the reason people try to hide behind their titles or whatnot is because they are insecure with that title and they use that title as a security blanket. It's not because they're really up to it. They use that to justify not seeing you, because that's the way this world is. You can't just go visit the governor. Huh? Governor's a busy man. Busy doing what? Poisoning Flint? The only time he interested in having some kind of conversation with you is when he's trying to get your vote. How many of them give out their number to you and say, "Call me if you got a problem"? People ain't about nothing. People in this world ain't a bunch of devils. This is the world that the devil has been in charge of. When you go to their school system, all you doing is learning how to be a devil. That's all. I said, when you go to school in this world, all you learning is how to be a devil. You should have known that. They don't teach the Holy Scriptures in the school system. What do it? Well, then what you learning in there? You sure ain't learning righteousness. That's why you don't have no respect for people. That's why you don't have any respect for your own constitution. You invite people into America. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Your wretched refuse from your teeming shores. That's what you say, give you. Then when they get here, you mistreat them. Especially if they're black. Then you went and stole us from our country, breeded us like cattle, put us in ghettos all over America, miseducated us, and then invite your friends to come in and say, look, this is a totally consumer people. Now you let me do business in your country and I'll let you come over here and I'll set you up in business with these savages here. But don't worry, they scared of me, so they ain't gonna bother you. And then you You can get their wealth and go and send your children to college. You can build up your communities everywhere. And don't worry, they ain't gonna kick about it. Because they ain't never tasted freedom. They don't have the slightest clue of what freedom is. They thought they was free when we signed the Emancipation Proclamation and said that they can just go now and get a job, and they got to be paid. And then we set the pay and we set the price on what everything costs, and they ain't woke up yet to the fact that after they finish buying from us, they ain't hardly got nothing left. But anyway, I'm trying to show you this is the kind of people that you've been under. These is the people that you hate me for. All right. You just remember, wasn't no Christian stood up here and woke you up to that you not no Negro. It was a Muslim who did that. Wasn't no Christian that saw you in poverty and told you, come on here, we can get ourselves up out of this. There's a Muslim doing this. You've been in Christianity for 400 years and been in poverty for 400 years. And Mr. Preacher, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, man. You walking around here preaching the white man's lie to your people. Talking about murder was God's plan for salvation. Well, wasn't what they say they did to Jesus murder? And you say that was God's plan? The same God that said thou shalt not kill condoned the murder of Jesus to save us? What a liar. And I have to truthfully say I never did believe that. That's why I left the church soon as I got old enough. I just stopped going to church. I didn't believe in the religions. I respected people that was religious, but I didn't want none of that. Because I was like my daddy there. He made us go to church, but he didn't go. You just couldn't teach my daddy to turn the other cheek and let somebody hit him or whatever. That wasn't going to happen. You know. Matter of fact, my daddy had about 5 shotguns. You know, and they're all different types. So he wasn't no turn the other cheek fella. And you know, and neither was I. He didn't let me be. He told me I never come home crying because somebody hit me, and I didn't fight back. So this was, you know, this is the history of us in this country. And this man did all type of evil to us. And then we was stupid enough to get our religious teaching from the very man who enslaved us for 400 years. We didn't learn nothing from Pharaoh. The children of Israel made a golden calf, but they learned from Pharaoh. And Moses got angry with him. After he did all that, then they went back to what they got from Pharaoh. Sound familiar? The Nation of Islam, after all that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did for him, when he wasn't here no more, he went right back to Pharaoh. Started worshiping spooks again. Worshiping that which is not God. He even said that the God who appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad was not God. Well, the truth that was freeing us was with him. The word was with Master Farad Muhammad. Then the word was with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But what do you mean he wasn't God? The scripture say the word was with God. It sure wasn't talking about the lie. The truth was with him. But anyway, they don't try to argue with me because they know they are dead loser. Now listen to what he said about Farrakhan.
He don't say when he get on the other side to see what I have done. He tells you to see what Allah has done. He don't take it upon himself.
Well, he used to didn't try to take it upon himself, but now he try to tell people he they saved. How in the world he your savior, and he had to be woke up again and again and again. And now he's back over there to talking about where the old Ron Hubbard had it will help us understand Islam better. Well, ain't that a joke? So, man, you're going to wish you had to listen to me. All right, keep on tripping. You notice, he ain't saying nothing. He said, ignore me. Yeah? Ignore the sunlight. It'll get dark again, personally. Oh, yeah? Do it look like it's getting dark again? So, I'm telling you, these people, let me let you hear the rest of it.
I want you to remember the day I have one of my greatest teachers here, God love me, but he's behind me, he's making no people. Out here where they can see you.
You'll say, well, if the messenger saw him, then why did he play with him like that? The messenger said that when I finished teaching you, he said you can wrap him around your little finger and say to your little finger, what's that on you there? He was showing me the power of knowing the truth, but you don't have to be afraid of people who trying to put something over on you. Same way he called himself using you, you can use him to help reach people that you trying to reach. Since he wants to sit in your seat, the scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. And they bind heavy burdens on men's shoulders and grievous to be borne. But they themselves won't lift it with one of their fingers. Therefore, do all that they bid you. His preaching is a bearing of witness to me. But do not after their works. Everywhere he advised you to go, go. Everywhere he advised you to stay from, stay from. And so when the messenger was here, he was pretending to be a believer. But he wasn't.
We have with us today our great national preacher. The preacher who don't mind going into New York, one of the most worst towns in our nation. It is our brother in Detroit and Chicago, New York. But I want you to remember, every week he is on there, help me to reach those people that I can't get out of my house and go reach like Jesus. I want you to pay good attention to his preaching. His preaching is a bearing of witness to me in what God has given to me. This is one of the strongest national preachers that I have in the bounds of North America. Everywhere you hear him, listen to him. Everywhere you see him, look at him. Everywhere he advises you to go. Everywhere he advises you to stay from. So we are thankful to our Lord for this great helper of mine, Minister Fri.
Then you got these hypocrites out here trying to tell you that that's for now. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, what he just said was while he was here. He told you who was coming after him. He even left himself out of naming people. He said, I don't want to be so smart to let him come and find me taking over his job. The duty of a messenger is to deliver the message that he was given. Once he's not here no more, then he's fulfilled his duty. And it's up to you to look for what he told you was coming. And he told you I was coming. And you try to pretend that you don't know it. You liars.
He's not a proud man. He's a very humble man. If he can carry you across the lake without dropping you in, he don't say when they get on the other side to see what I have done. He tells you to see what Allah has done. He don't take it upon himself.
You heard him take it upon himself when that played that tape for you, talking about I'm that Jesus or whatever he claimed he is. He took it upon himself, didn't he? But he would have never did that while the messenger was here. But in his mind, he thought that he could explain scriptures to people. And I'm going to prove that at the beginning of the next series. But this is the last one of that.
He's not a preacher. We heard him every week. And I say continue to hear our minister Fri. We want to unite together. But it takes of God who wants to save us. We can't be saved from the destruction of an enemy by making friends with the enemy and believing in him more than we believe in God. Come out of us. Your Bible says, come out of us. He's not forsaken with us and others come. Come out of us. I tell you what I'm going to do. If you don't come out of it, brother, I'm already out of it. And I'm going to keep running to keep from getting back in it.
No, let's go over there and run back in with L. Ron Hubbard. Instead of telling our brothers who rapping and all of that and using all that profanity and walking around with the pants down and all that stuff, instead of telling them, brother, you got to do better than that. He praise him. That's right. Praising them because he know he can get some of that money. If you start telling them they can't do that, they got to do better than that, then they won't like what you're saying. So he go to everybody and tell everybody what they want to hear. When he go to church, he tell the preacher how great he is. Because he wants everybody to praise him. When he ain't really true to nothing. And next thing you know, he's over there hugging up on, what's his name? What that fella got that redneck show? Alex Jones. And you want to talk out the side of your neck to me. Was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad like that? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad wasn't two-faced. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad stood for what he said he stood for. That's even when he made him and Dr. King was planning a convention together. He said, Dr. King, I represented Martin Luther King, that he was a great man. He said, I agree. He agreed with me, and I agreed with him to agree with me. But not in his way. He said, Dr. King, he woke up right away. He said, no, they may not be as evil as the other. He said, but they're all from the same stock. And the devil sit up out there on his directional microphones and mechanical instruments, the messenger call, and tuned up and listened in on what we was talking about. And they must have heard him say he agreed with me that they was the devil. And from that moment on, they made up in their mind to kill Martin Luther King. And that's what happened to him. You see, he wasn't like this Farrakhan. Wherever he at, he like a chameleon, change colors or whatnot. No, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was true to what he said he believed and what he taught.
Let us go home and eat cereal. We get all the taxes that they owe you rid of. Let fast and brave, they will lead people. Some of you here had read out that they eat nothing but vegetables. But they will eat it. So let us eat cereal. God has taught me to teach you how to eat cereal. I thank you for your patience and for your service. Let us go and eat cereal. Thanking you. All the time, I pray that God enable you to live the year of Noah, of Methuselah. I pray that you live 1,000 years too. So, I thank again for your nice, beautiful respect of my presence among you. I thank you. May Allah in the kingdom of heaven. As I say unto you and turning you back, and the head of our assistant minister to take care of your dismissal. I don't want him to beg you to death because I'll be back next Sunday asking you for it. So may that peace and the blessings of Allah go with you wherever you may go, and find your family with the greetings of Allah on your return to you, rejoicing that you went out, mother and father, to hear the word of Allah. As I say unto you, Assalamu alaikum.
And as I say unto all of you, we're going to close now. That's the end of Volume 2 of the Theology of Time. Friday, we will begin on Volume 3. And at the beginning of our meeting, the brother wanted me to teach on Matthew, the 13th chapter, and around the 14th verse, I think he said.
Chapter 14.
Chapter 14. And what verse?
Verses 13 to 21.
Okay, the 13th verses. So I will go into that if he remind me. So we'll get into the Theology of Time, Volume 3, starting Friday. There's 5 volumes of it. So we getting there slowly, but we getting there. All praises due to Allah. May Allah's Salam alaikum.
Your conference recording has stopped. This session is no longer being recorded.